Good Sunday morning, everybody. What show is it, Joe?
It's the Joe and Joe show on Sunday morning.
It
Coffee with
is.
Joe and yes.
Coffee, tea, or whatever floats your boat at 11 o'clock in the morning. Maybe it is a glass of wine or some hard liquor. I don't know. But welcome aboard. And we are hoping that the signal holds up. So far, it has. While I was setting this up over an hour ago, I'm trying to, you know, do a few things. Taking it off the satellite this morning, so we'll see if that plays or not. The Joe and Joe Show brought to you by Omni True Value Hardware. They're getting ready for spring, as you should be too, because eventually it will get here, I promise. 1226 North Wellwood Avenue in West Babylon. 631-756-25 is the telephone number. The website is omnitruevalue.com. And they've got mulch, topsoil, gravel, everything you need to get your yard in tip-top shape. And also brought to you by our friends at Wholesale Holiday Lighting by Giannini at Ocean Avenue in Lindenhurst, as they are your complete holiday lighting specialists, meeting all your decorating needs. By the way, that's not just Christmas, it's also Halloween, St. Patrick's Day, Easter, whatever it is. Just give them a holler.
Easter.
Yes, 631-957-5106. The website is liholidaylighting.com. So I have some very interesting news for you, Mr. Rayo. Just let me get us back on the full screen.
Okay.
So what is next?
First of all, how do I sound? Do I sound?
You sound just a smidge tinny. Are you on a new mic?
Just a smidge tinny.
Yeah.
Yes. Can you tell I'm wearing headphones?
Yes.
This is the Bluetooth high definition whatever. So
yeah, and I know that I sound like I'm in a bit of an echo chamber, but that's because I'm in my big open concept kitchen, dining room, living room, so I don't have the sound is kind of echoing a bit. But hopefully
yes.
Tomorrow I will be back in the closed off small room where it will be much less of an echo chamber. So keep your fingers crossed that all the technical stuff works. Oh, Starlink, you cannot hook up fast enough for me. So, what is next Sunday? What happens next Sunday?
We move our clock ahead 1 hour and go on daylight saving time, although we're not really saving anything.
Right. Well, I have news for you. You are going on daylight You are going on daylight saving time. I may be actually staying on standard time year round.
Really? Georgia's going to pass a bill, or they passed a bill saying they're going to?
They passed it in the assembly in the Georgia State House, and now the Senate has it, and it passed overwhelmingly, like 95-6 or something like that. But they are voting to stay on standard time year round, which I am 17 miles from the North Carolina border. So if I want to go in saving time, daylight saving time, I could just drive the 17 miles up the Murphy Highway to get into Murphy, North Carolina, and I could go to saving time. But they're voting to keep it at standard time. I thought of you.
That's very interesting because a lot of.
Go ahead.
Joe, are you there?
I'm here. Just got a bit of a delay.
Because now you're going in and out on me here. So.
Yeah.
Okay, good. All right. I'm surprised because most of the politicians usually go in the other direction. They vote for year-round daylight saving time, which is stupidity. I've always said we ought to just stay on standard time all year round, and because that's really the smart thing to do, less confusing and better for, I think, in many facets. So it's great. But you know what? It's going to be a bit confusing since you're going to be surrounded by states that are going to be on daylight time, and you're the only one. It's kind of like what Arizona deals with. Arizona never goes on daylight time.
Right.
They're surrounded by New Mexico and California and Nevada. All the rest of them go on daylight time. That's great. Maybe this is a trend. Maybe in another year or two, maybe
we
might have a rule where daylight saving time is abolished and we just stay on standard time all year round.
And by the way, David Schwartz, if Georgia stays on standard time, it does not require congressional approval. It requires congressional approval if they decide to go on daylight saving time year round. Okay, so there are some states that are thinking of doing that. Florida, I believe, was one of them, and I don't know if they did or not, but it does not require congressional approval if you stay on standard time.
Well, still, it's going to be it'll be a little confusing, but I think that means, let's see, that means that if Florida, for example, decides to stay on daylight saving time all year round, that would mean that when we get into, let's say, November and December, they will be the lone state out on this side of the continent, because everybody else will be on standard time and they'll be the only ones on daylight time.
Except that,
and then during the
go ahead, I'm sorry.
And then during the summertime, everybody will be on daylight saving time, and you in Georgia will be on standard time.
That's just crazy. And by the way, parts of New England want to go to Atlantic Standard Time year round.
Oh, please.
So it's just, can you imagine that? If Connecticut and Rhode Island, for example, go to Atlantic Standard Time, and Long Island, being part of New York State, stays on daylight saving time / standard time back. I mean, it's just, you're going to cross borders or what if you live near that stretch of 684 that goes into Connecticut for 2 seconds and then comes back out?
Right.
It's just, the world is a crazy place and getting crazier by the minute. So, also, by the way, my low this morning, 21.
Wow. I don't know I didn't check our temperature, but I know it was cold yesterday and it was cold last night. In fact, here's an annoyance. I have, you're going to hear a Macy's intercom announcement in just a very few moments.
Okay. Rob,
I just heard the kitchen chair just moved, which I could tell Mrs. Rayo is now working her way over to the weather station to see what our low was this morning. And what's particularly annoying now is that
22. Yes, I did. I beat you. I got 21.
Okay.
Robin Begles. No. Robin says, "Have I left the New York metro area for good?" No. I'm going back. I'm going back and forth. I have family here now, so I come down and see my grandkids, and I stay for a few weeks, and then I come back up.
All the snow weenies are hoping that you're going to come back, Joe, because they figure that once you come back, the snow machine will get turned on again.
Yeah,
so they want you to come back.
Well, I am coming back at the end of the month. Okay, so Bill Rogers wants to know if you've made up with your wife.
Oh yeah, yes. We kissed and made up.
Oh my!
And the main problem back on Thursday was what's now on my. It took my daughter to come here yesterday, who's much more tech than either my wife or I, and she was able to find a teeny tiny little switch on Zoom, which would allow me to utilize these, because we couldn't understand why I could use these headphones and I could watch something on YouTube. Everything came through okay, but when I tried it on Zoom, couldn't hear anybody, couldn't talk to anybody, and we just had to make and it did, and there was nothing to allude to that in the instructions, the wonderful instructions that came with these headphones. So I guess you just had to know. And my daughter knew what to do, and that's why I'm talking to you.
You know
and
what?
Somebody on the chat board said I sound amazingly good today. So.
Oh, terrific! Even better. Maybe it's just me on my end that I'm hearing you a little tinny. Anytime you got to remember, and I would forget from time to time, and now I've kind of made it automatic. So whenever you have some kind of technical issue and you're using Zoom, make sure you go to the Zoom settings first to check to see if everything is set over there. And every once in a while, they'll do an update, which will undo your settings, and you may have to go back and check them. So just bear that
Uh,
in mind. Okay,
amazing.
so weather-wise, we are, of course, you're in, you're in this cold stretch here that is finally going to break. The overall pattern across the U.S. still, remains fairly quiet and subdued. I mean, there really isn't a whole lot happening. And I was kind of looking at the second half of the month. I, you still may get your shot at something, Joe. You need that 1.4 inches of snow. I know I keep changing
Correct.
the amount around, but 1.4 inches of snow. Um, yeah, I still think that there's a chance we could get a setup somewhere along the way. I'm playing on the volatility of the month, and a few other things may be happening in the last 2 weeks. And I know the snow weenies out there have been jumping up and down on periodic runs of several models in the last 5 days, doing all sorts of strange things. Uh, I mean, there's a chance that something may come up. I don't know if it's on the board right now, but it might be tomorrow. It might be the next day. But in the meantime, enjoy the 50s and 60s that are coming. Just remember that. Enjoy it.
Yes. Yes, we will when they finally do get here. The funny thing is that local forecasters here have been talking about those 50s and 60s for a number of days, more than a week. They've been saying, "Oh, and you're going to love it. It's going to get nice and warm." But meanwhile, while we're waiting, we've had like two or three of some of the really coldest, and not just the cold, but with the wind factored in,
Yeah.
it has been just absolutely brutal out there. And you got people saying, "When is it coming? For goodness sake, I'm waiting for that nice mild weather." It's coming, folks, but it's not going to come today. And even tomorrow, it'll be a bit milder tomorrow, but even tomorrow, it's not going to be. Finally, it'll be here. It looks like for Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. Those are the 3 days that you are alluding to, Joe, that we should savor, enjoy, like a cup of coffee.
Yeah, you might even stretch it out into to Friday. To Friday.
Yeah.
Yeah. And also yesterday there were snow showers running around all over the place over parts of Long Island. I'm sorry, over parts of Long Island anyway.
They were here too.
Oh, see, winter didn't want to go away, did it? Meanwhile, looking at the
No, it didn't.
and looking at the satellite loop this morning. And by the way, Joe Rayo's monitoring the chat board. So if you've got anything question-wise or comment-wise, by all means, do share it with us. Subscribe to my YouTube channel with your Gmail account. You can participate in the conversation, and it doesn't cost you anything. So watching the satellite loop here, the GOES folks are having a little bit of trouble. They're trying to update. But there really isn't much happening. I could still see some snow cover up in upstate New York on the satellite picture, and also in and around the Great Lakes. You take a look at the clouds that are moving across the northern plains. That actually is the leading edge of that warmer air. A little bit of a warm front has to get through here tomorrow. I don't think there's going to be too much with that, other than maybe some clouds. And I didn't put in any mention of a shower, but once that goes by, it's all dry and now warming up through the plains and down into Texas. There's energy coming into the Pacific Northwest. That's really about where all the moisture is confined to, where we're seeing some rain and snow in the mountains there. But the radar's quiet across the U.S. The WPC on their 7-day forecast, Joe, through next Sunday, they still have less than 0.01 inches of liquid. So they're keeping it basically dry into Sunday morning.
Right.
WPC is. And also you've got precip that breaks out across the middle Mississippi and Ohio Valley and lower lakes, a couple of inches possible there. The west, much needed rain in California up and down the state. Forecast for the next 7 days up to maybe an inch and a quarter, inch and a half. From San Diego all the way up north to Seattle. And other than that, everybody else looks to, also, by the way, a concentration, we shouldn't forget to mention too, a concentration of moisture in Colorado, where I think they may wind up seeing some snow in the longer range. And we're going to take a look at that shortly.
Yes, and we're approaching St. Patrick's Day, and I've always thought, subjectively, that once we get to St. Patrick's Day, any snow that we get generally would be on the light side. Now, I know that there have been a few cases where we've had moderate or even heavy snow falling, sometimes into the early part of April. But I always think of the 17th as the unofficial end of, the really heavy duty type snows that we see up in these latitudes. Again, there have been other cases where we've had significant snows all the way out till early April, but we're coming up on that time of the year, the home stretch, so to speak, for all the snow lovers. And a lot of people on the chat board, Joe, say, do the snow weenies become thunderstorm weenies or hurricane weenies in the coming weeks and months once the snow or chance of snow is past us?
Some do,
And
some.
somebody's asking about the SOI,
Oh yeah, the Southern
or the
Oscillation. Yeah,
SOL.
Chuck. No, the Southern Oscillation Index, the SOI. I'm not, Chuck. I'm not a big. I don't follow the SOI very closely at all. If you mention it, I'll look at it, and I have. I know that's the. I know that looks at the pressure changes in the area from Australia to Tahiti and the Pacific, the Southern Pacific Islands, and that has those who follow this with the, who do the work in the long range, say it's important with regards to what happens across North America and on the Pacific side. I don't really pay too much attention to it. Um, yeah, there's so many of these different indices to look at. After a while, it just kind of gets overwhelming. So I just kind of keep it to the ones that are on the northern hemisphere, and I'll let the southern hemisphere figure itself out. But stuff that happens there does impact here. Stuff that happens here impacts there. That I think we could say, um, with a certain amount of certitude. Meanwhile, blocking. Talk about blocking. That's what we got. It's amazing. Everybody, we saw what happened back in January, Joe. Everybody was wishing for blocking. Guess what? You have it again with this big block that's formed that formed earlier this week. And of course, we know what also happened is that the trough off the
Too
east.
much of a good thing.
Yep, trough off the East Coast is so strong. This is back on Friday, this upper air. This is the southern stream system that wound up going so far south it actually crossed the state of Florida. The low actually crossed the state of Florida. Well, that trough finally pulls out, the upper high breaks down, and here's your warm up, folks. Nice west southwest flow right through Wednesday, Thursday. And then the question is, there's a front that gets close. There was supposed to be a front that was going to get close on Thursday. That's not happening now. And I'm just kind of looking at this on the upper air, Joe. This was the 6Z run from last night. I haven't pulled up the new 12Z yet, but you're in a time of year where you've got the cold air still up in Canada, and you also have these troughs, these shortwave troughs that are moving through. And what happens in the spring is that the length of these troughs, the wavelength, gets shorter and shorter. So you start to look for combinations where you get a northern stream that brings down cold air and a busy southern stream. And when you see something like this, where you've got a wrapped up upper low there in Kansas, for example, and this is for next Sunday, this is where you start looking at the possibility of maybe some severe weather outbreaks. And by the way, that upper trough in the southwest looks like it'll probably bring some snow to parts of the central Rockies and maybe even in the central plains. We'll see. That lifts up to the Great Lakes. But my point is, Joe, that this is the time of year where you kind of have to, whether you have a block or not doesn't really matter all that much, but you have to start looking at the fact that you're going to have a couple of different streams to look at. And the way it winds up snowing is that if you can get that northern stream to come down and kind of feed in some cold air at about the same time that you get something in that southern part of the jet to move along, that's when you could wind up with a late season snowfall.
Now, let me ask you a question. We were talking about the nice surge of warmth that's heading in our direction. Friday, Front is just to our north and west, probably moves through during the course of the day on Friday, probably dry.
Right.
Do you think that the winds will come in from a west southwest direction enough so that we might perhaps in parts of the tri-state area, especially inland, flirt with 70? Is that out of the question, you think, on Friday?
Let me take, I just pulled up the new GFS here. So let's look at this. Let's look at this. I thought
All
that
right.
maybe, I was thinking yesterday and this morning that, yes, I think it's possible. If it's a west-southwest wind, and if it's one of these fronts where you don't really get into any kind of clouds until the front is almost on top of you, then yeah, what's going to stop it?
Right.
Thursday, actually, Joe, you look even on Thursday, it's a the isobars are southwest, but they're mostly, that's a land wind. There's no sea breeze here unless you're right along the immediate coast. So if there's you certainly should be able to push it up well into the 60s, I would think. Yeah, on Friday, look at that. The Friday morning, the front is supposedly on the GFS is sitting across western New York. They're showing a few showers, but what if that's overdone? And the moisture field actually thins out somewhat until Friday evening. So yeah, and by the way, where are temperatures going to go Thursday night? If it goes into the 60s, if you're in the 60s on Thursday, you're going to start off with a pretty good launching pad come Friday morning. So I think you're right. I think we could certainly see,
Right. Upper 40s to near 50, probably. Yeah.
Yeah. So after that, the front
Yeah.
kind of goes
It
by.
looks nice.
Yeah, and the front does go by, but it gets hung up. And now here comes this storm system, this next low. You can see all the action that's out in the western part of the U.S., by the way. But here comes the next low. And, I'm thinking here, maybe next Friday and Saturday, perhaps some severe weather risk possible for parts of Texas, and then eventually the lower and middle Mississippi Valley, and some snow there in Colorado and parts of Kansas and Nebraska and into Iowa and the lower lakes. Look at this. Take a look, Joe. The new GFS. Take a look at this. Okay, snow lovers are going to be jumping up and down here. There's your cold high. We were talking about these separate streams here. So there's your cold high that comes down to the from the north.
Ah.
And then here we go. Here's Sunday morning, Joe. You've got a 1040 high at James Bay with a low that gets into central Illinois, central Indiana, redevelops off of Virginia, and it's got snow. There it is. There's your 1.4 right there. There's your 1.4.
Oh, so here we are this Sunday talking about or speculating about whether or not the coming days will hit 70. And if this pans out, if you take this at face value, next Sunday at this hour, we will be looking out our respective windows at light to moderate snow coming down.
Right. Well, this is actually.
So is the month of March.
Right. This is actually Sunday night into Monday morning. I'm just looking at this. This is
Okay.
Sunday night into Monday morning. So if the snow falls at night, Joe, there will be no sun angle issue. Now, of course, we're going to have to deal with
Right.
the warm ground enthusiasts who are going to be jumping up and down saying that it's 70 degrees on Friday. The snow is not going to stick. So I will just leave you with, first of all, we don't even know if this is real, but I would just leave you with the fact that it's all about intensity, okay? So if you get intensity, that kind of takes care of the warm ground situation. So I have said that so many times. You and I have both said that so many times, but this is kind of funny that this is your chance. You're going to get that 1.4 if this is correct.
And there we go. Then we'll make it 10 for 10 in those years where in December you get 7.7 or more inches of snowfall for the month. And we've had at Central Park 10 out of 10. Well, we had so far it's 9 out of 9 years where in that case we get at least 40 inches of snow.
Mm-hmm.
And in 3 of those 9 cases, there have been winter snowfalls where we've been like in the top 10, like 50 and 60 and 65, 75 inches, for God's sake. Not saying that that's going to happen this time around, but all I want is just to make it 10 for 10 with the 40 inches And we if this happens, yeah, you're right, we'll do it. Then again, you and I both know that the GFS will probably change its mind tomorrow or
Right.
Tuesday or Wednesday, and take it away and make snow lovers very unhappy, and then bring it back, let's say Thursday, and take it away on Friday. So it'll be an interesting week to see how this all vacillates back and forth.
Right. Well, I do have the new perpendicular GFS, so let's take a look and see, because the perpendicular GFS had some snow on one of the runs from last night. So let's look at this one. So there's your Thursday, Joe. The isobars are west. Actually, Wednesday. It's kind of funny. See, Wednesday. Wednesday's the one day that the warm up might have a little trouble because the isobars are more south southwest, and there's going to be some ocean component here for some areas. Not the inland areas so much, but say from New York City east and into southern New England. Meanwhile, by the way, the weather's going to be gorgeous across much of the southeast. I mean, that we got this big high sitting overhead. I'm going to see 70s, temperatures getting into the 70s with nice, comfortable humidity. Getting my spring stuff done outside. So here's your front on Friday, and the parallel brings it through. There's another push. The real push is really Friday night into Saturday morning. And here comes your low. It's in southeast Kansas. Yeah, see on the perpendicular GFS, which is out now to Monday, is slower, and it has the low, it's like, sort of pinned east-west, but it's not doing what it looks like it's a little bit of a warmer solution versus the GFS, although it has a little bit of snow into central PA and western New York as a kind of an arm that moves around. But it'll be something to look at. I want you to get that 1.4.
Well, I'm hoping we will get it. 3 years ago, was it? It was the year of the four Easter.
Yes.
It wasn't last year, and it wasn't 2019. It was 2018. I was looking on my memory file popped up on Facebook this morning, and I posted something like 5 or 6 posts on the snow. And in one particular case, I wrote 23 inches in Sloatsburg. So I guess we really got clobbered with a lot of snow on this day back in 2018.
Yeah, and that was probably the third of the 4 nor'easters. No,
right?
No. I'm sorry, Joe. That probably was the second of the 4 nor'easters, because I got close to 20 inches from the last one, and I believe that was around the 20th or the 21st, something like that. 22nd. It was. I remember it was the latest that I had ever seen a double-digit snowfall in my years on Long Island. So
yeah.
That was a very interesting 3-week period.
By the way, bought me something which you may be interested in. Of course, we're paying her back for it, but I thought you might be interested in seeing this. Look at this. You know what these are?
Caracaras. You got your Caracaras?
Caracaras.
Awesome. They're the best oranges.
8 pounds worth of Caracaras.
Oh, those are the absolute
8
best.
pounds.
And the Caracaras.
Guess how much?
What's that?
Take a guess how much for 8 pounds of Caracaras.
They're not that expensive. They're like usually the big giant ones. They run about $1 a piece. I'm going to say $10 for the bag.
$8.38. $8.38.
Oh, perfect.
$8.38 for 8 pounds.
They are the best oranges.
Wonderful.
They're juicy. They are they're actually reddish inside, and they are a tad. You can taste the sweetness and the tartness at the same time. They are terrific. Aren't you glad I put you onto those Carragher oranges?
You are absolutely. You were telling me when Joe and I used to work at FiOS One News. There's the first spring that we were late winter, early spring that we were together, and he's eating this orange. He said, "Have you ever tried one of these?" I said, "Of course I tried it. I know what an orange is." He said, "No, this is a Caracara orange." Didn't know what a Caracara was, and she said, "Try it." I said, Joe, I've tasted oranges before. He said, try it. And I did. And immediately I got hooked. These are, they're nothing like any of the other oranges that you may taste in your life. So if you see them in your local store, Caracaras, get them. And you could see he's got me hooked by getting 8 pounds. I was
Right.
bragging about this to my daughter-in-law, and she said, "Oh, I'll go out and get you some the next time I see him." And there they are.
And by the way, they're only in season till about, they usually were in season from about late December to May. So you only got about
Right.
2 months left of them. So Bill Rogers,
Yes.
it's all wooded here. Bill Rogers wants to know if I'm, in the middle of in the forest, and the answer is yes. I'm in the I'm inside the Chattahoochee National Forest. And also, when I say the perpendicular GFS, I'm joking because they call it the parallel GFS. So I'm joking by saying it's the perpendicular GFS. There is actually no such thing as a perpendicular GFS. Okay. Sometimes it does things that make you think that the atmosphere is sideways, but it's not. I'm joking. I'm being a smart ass. Okay. Just to let you know.
You got to tell me, by the way, if you're in a rustic area as you say you are, you have to tell me on some night when there's no moon, just how dark and starry your skies are, because I'd be interested to know how much light pollution you may have.
We have very little
down
here. Very little light pollution. I'm away from town by a good 10 miles, so
Yep.
there's some light pollution in the town, which is small. But so immediately, as soon as you get outside of it, there are very few, very few street lights. And I'm on a mountainside, so there's nothing here as far as light pollution is concerned. So when there's a full moon, there's a full moon. The mountains may block it, but there's a full moon.
Yes. Yes.
And by the way, I drove from my daughter who's down in Marietta. So I drove back yesterday a different way, and I went up 400, Route 400, State Route 400, I believe it is, and then took State Route 19. Joe, I drove through the mountain through the mountains from Dahlonega to Blairsville. I drove through some incredible mountain roads. Okay, when I tell you that the curves were sideways, okay, they were like this, and you would literally go like just like this, in and then down and then up. Oh my God. And I had to go. I went up that way because that's the way Waze took me. And the reason why I followed it, there's a straight shoot main road that comes up this way. So let me just tell you real quick. I'm on this bizarre streak. So I drove down to my daughter's a few weeks ago, and when I was driving back at 7:00 at night, at the end of the Atlanta rush hour, the standard route. While I was on there, the highway was shut down. There was some big accident involving a Mack truck, and the highway was shut down. I had to sit there for a couple of hours. So
for a couple of hours,
roughly, it put an extra 2 hours under my ride back. So, all right, maybe that's exaggerated. Let's say an extra hour. So the alternate route is to come up 400. I knew that that was a mountainous road. I was not going to drive that at night. Not going to drive it at night. So anyhow, Friday, I drove down to Marietta to see my daughter, and as I'm driving down the main road, guess what? The road is shut down at 11 o'clock in the morning because there was a tractor trailer that flipped over on the main road. So I had to drive around through the mountain to get around, that accident. So that's twice in a row. Yesterday, I'm coming home in the afternoon. I said, okay, I'm going to take 400. I'll go through, take that ride and see what it's like. And guess what? I'm in the mountains itself. The road shut down because there was an accident. Somebody, I believe, drove their car off the side of the road and went down, a quarter of the way down the mountain. I mean, I'm not joking here. It was pretty serious, but I'm just saying that it seems like when I'm on the road now, three drives in a row, and 3 times I'm getting on roads that wind up being shut down. But the roads on some of the mountains here are they're scary looking. I mean, they're beautiful, The drives are great. The scenery is to be, is really outstanding. And there's, if you're into hiking, this is your place. There's so many hiking trails in the mountains there and everything else. But boy, the roads are not, you can't do, let's see, you're doing 20 and 25 miles an hour to go around some of these turns. And then, of course, you pass the runaway truck ramps, which are always fun to see. It is beautiful country here. It is. The southeast, the mountains here in North Georgia are. I never would have imagined that they are what they are.
It's like the old saying, why get excited about getting to somewhere when the journey is the main attraction, correct?
Correct. You're absolutely correct. Leon Prodbitsky hitting super chat, by the way. Thank you, Leon. I hope everything is going well by you. And I think we have the chairman sent a cooking Briller Jeopardy today for Mrs. Rayo. So we're going to have to put her we're going to have to challenge her here. Let me get those questions up. Whoops.
Today?
I think it's today.
Is that today?
I think it's today. It's Sunday,
really?
isn't it?
I didn't know that I don't even know if she was aware of that.
Oh, let me see. Hold on. I do have.
Well, I hope she's listening. Well, I know she's on the chat board.
Okay, if she can join us, I have a short Briller Jeopardy about cooking. Do we hear her? Is Macy's up there?
Well, we could do that. Well, if she does that, then she has to take over control of the headphones, and I'll have to. What did you say, dear? Well, I'm away from the intercom, so but she did say she did. I think she's on her way down.
Okay, Ethel to Tilly, come in,
anyway.
Tilly, over.
Ethel to Tilly.
Yes. Our medium for
tonight. I hear her coming down the stairs.
Awesome. I know for some reason there's an audio delay, and I apologize for that, but this is the world we live in right now.
Here. She has arrived. Take control of the headphones.
Hello there. Hello.
Hi. Hi. I can hear you now.
Okay, Renata, there's an occasional audio delay, just so you know, just to make you aware of that. So,
I've been watching. Yeah, occasionally.
Yeah. So, are you ready to go? You all set?
Yes.
Okay. So
yes.
all right.
I might have to ask you to repeat something sometimes because
of the audio issue.
Audio breaks. Yeah.
Okay. So question one tonight question one this morning on cooking, Briller Jeopardy cooking is what is a mandolin? Utensils with adjustable blades, hot fruit salad, or a needle for trussing chicken?
No, you slice things on a mandolin.
The utensils with
slicer with multiple blades.
That is correct. Question two: what is a confit? Okay, a confit. Is it a confit? CONFIT. Is it a cheesecloth used to make yogurt? A blend of oats and rice? Meat cooked in its own fat? Those are the three choices.
I think it's meat cooked in its own fat.
And that is correct. You are 2 for 2. I think you got them all right the last time, so you're still rolling here. Question 3. What is an aspic? 1S. Okay. Is it a paring knife, a savory meat stocked with jelly, or steak soup? ASPIC.
Meat stocked with, it's the meat stocked with jelly or gelatin.
Oh, that is correct. Question 4. What is a smidgen? Okay, is it a deep fried onion, a square skillet, or a small amount?
It's a small amount
Right, a smidgen,
to go along with a tidbit.
a tidbit. Okay, question 5. What is and hopefully I'm pronouncing this right, tagine, Tajine, okay? Tajine, okay,
T-A-J?
J.
Okay.
Is it
All
an,
right. Go
is it,
ahead.
is it,
What are my choices?
is it an earthenware cooking pot, a wide spatula, or a yellow citrus fruit?
No, it's the cooking pot.
That's correct, yes. All right, question 6. What is a liaison? Okay, a sous chef, B, a thickening agent used in soup, or C, a pleasing blend of disparate tastes.
And what is this word you're asking
Okay,
me? Liaison?
liaison. It's spelled Liaison. Maybe I'm pronouncing it wrong. Lia. No,
L-A-I.
no. Liaison.
Wow. Okay.
So
What were my choices? I,
um,
I
a,
really don't know.
a sous chef, a thickening agent used in soup, or pleasing blend of disparate tastes.
Oh my gosh, I have no clue. Um, uh, I'll say sous chef.
No, you finally got one wrong. It's thickening. It's a thickening agent used in soup.
Wrong.
All right. Question 7. What does coddle mean? Coddle. Coddle. Does it mean A, cook in liquid, B, poke tiny holes in the meat, or C, heat fish with skin on?
Um, I think it's the first one. What was it?
Cook in liquid. That is correct. Cook in liquid.
Yes.
All right, here's another one. What does coulis mean? Coulis. Okay. Coulis. A soup served chili. I'm sorry, a soup served chilled. Okay. A cucumber salad. A sauce made from fruits or vegetables.
I think it's the first one.
A soup served chill. A chilled
Chilled.
soup. Now the answer is C. It's a sauce made from fruit or vegetables.
Oh, okay.
Okay, question 9.
Which is something I would never really do.
Right.
Okay.
Question 9. What does dredge mean?
Oh,
Okay.
that's easy.
A,
Yes.
a coat, you know, to coat, to drain, or to break apart by hand.
To coat something when you dredge, let's say, chicken cutlets in flour
Flour,
or breadcrumbs,
correct.
dredging. Yeah.
Which I have to actually go after we're done. I have to run to the store and get breadcrumbs because I'm gonna make some. I have chicken soaking in buttermilk, so I'm gonna make some fried chicken today.
Oh, good.
And the last question today: What is a mezzaluna? Okay, a mezzaluna. Okay, a half a knife with a curved blade, a medium shaped pasta, a moon shaped pasta. Okay, all right, or a medium spicy sausage.
Mezzaluna.
Mezzaluna. Now, mezza in Italian means half. Okay, and luna means moon.
Uh-huh.
So it kind of looks like a crescent, like a crescent
So
shape.
it's actually a pasta?
Well, you know what? I think I've seen it as a pasta, but it's actually a knife with a curved blade.
Knife with a curved blade. Okay. No, I've never heard that before.
And here's a bonus question if you know about the chairman. Where does he vacation in the summertime? Is it in A, Lake Placid, B, the Bahamas, C, Wildwood, New Jersey, D, Scotland, E, Barrow, or F, Mount Washington?
I think he likes a Wildwood, New Jersey.
And that is correct. And that, yes. So you got 8 out of 10. You got 2 of them wrong today. You are human here
Yeah.
when it comes to cooking. I'm, you got 17 right in a
That's right.
row over 2 days. So yeah, I'm gonna do.
Okay.
I'm doing fried chicken today. So like I said, I have to hit the store and pick up my
Mhm.
my stuff. And
All
the
right.
thanks to the chairman just hitting super chat today. Thank you so much, Scott. Most
What
appreciated.
did he say that he's going to do next time around? What kind of questions? Weather questions? Wait, he
Oh,
said actual weather questions from the Jeopardy TV show.
oh, okay.
That's what he's going to bring to you
Well, that'll be fun.
next.
All
Okay.
right.
Yeah.
So enjoy your
All right,
Sunday.
Joe. Yes. You want to? Should we bring back Mr. Rayo
Yeah, bring him
again?
back. Bring him back for 1 second.
That's the drawback with the headphones. He can't hear what I'm saying or what we're doing.
Right, right.
Speakers and everything are off.
Well, while we're waiting,
Okay, come on back.
Oh, he's coming back. Okay.
Didn't do too badly. There were some left hooks and right hooks and
So your
a
glasses,
couple wrong.
your glasses, dear.
Thank you.
And here you are. And here we are again. Yellow.
Hi. So yeah, she did. She had 17. She had a 17 answer winning streak before she got.
She was finally stumped.
Yes, she was. So she's still, she's still ahead of the game, far ahead of me in all of this. So anyway,
Well, as I've often said, it's interesting to live with a woman who's half Felix Unger and half Martha Stewart.
Oh, good God. All right, so let's say goodbye on this Sunday, and I know you're still cold out there, but I will at least get to enjoy some warm weather. And the Joe and Joe Weather Show brought to you by Wholesale Holiday Lighting by Giannini at 162 Ocean Avenue in Lindenhurst. 631-957-5106. The website is liholidaylighting.com, and they will meet all your decorating needs, your complete holiday lighting specialist, or perhaps you want to do this as a business. Give them a call, 631-957-5106. And getting ready for spring is Omni True Value Hardware at 1226 North Wellwood Avenue in West Babylon, 631-756-1125. The website is omnitruevalue.com, and they are getting all set so that you can start getting your yard in order once the spring weather arrives, which it will arrive in another day or so.
Yeah, one thing about this cold spell of weather that we've had that's annoying on my I have a Davis weather station. I'm sure many of you know what it's a great station, except what's happening right now is that while it's giving me all the readings, it's flashing a message, and that message is low battery transmitter, which means that eventually, even though it has a little bit of a solar panel to it, and we've had a number of bright sunny days, eventually, Joe, it means I'm going to have to climb a 15 or 20-foot ladder to get to the top of the mast in order to pull the station down and change the battery out. And there's nothing more annoying than that when it comes during a spell of very cold weather. It'll probably continue to last for a while, but it's just a warning to me that the battery is going to need to be changed.
I don't do ladders. Not anymore, anyway.
Well,
all right.
Our old friend Andy Gregorio lives up in the Saratoga Springs area. Had that happen to him, I think during late January or February, and he actually had to climb his mast, and it was encased in ice, the weather station. He actually had like a 75-foot extension cord, and he used his 1800-watt hair dryer first to melt off all the ice and snow on the. There's a weather enthusiast for you to go ahead and do something like that.
Too funny. All right, let's have a great Sunday, everybody. Thanks for being here. Joe, you have a great one, and we'll see you tomorrow at 7:30 Eastern Time, p.m., okay, p.m. Goodbye, everybody.
Bye-bye.